Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Another beautiful day or night, wherever we are in the world, to come together and just be. Meditation, we may call this sitting quietly, eyes open or closed, and not saying anything or just trying to empty our minds. Meditation is not a technique, it's not an agenda. It is not meant to be a bunch of steps that lead to a goal. And of course, it is presented that way in the world where we as human prioritize intellect over experience. Things got to make sense for me to believe it, for me to accept it. So when that is how we start living, even meditation has to be presented as a technique to a goal, a means to an end. Because everything that I do experience, I work for, I think about, I put my effort and energy in, is because I'm going to get out of it something. Otherwise, what's the point? Why would I spend my energy or time on something that is not going to give me anything? So meditation is not a technique to get something. Meditation is not a practice, as we call it, to give me anything. Meditation is a natural movement towards recognizing that there is nothing to get. And even though my whole life has been a strive towards getting more material possessions, getting more harmony in relationships, getting more love, getting more approval, getting more appreciation, getting more peace, getting more spiritual growth, whatever the more of is my goal. Meditation is a natural movement that happens when there is an experiential knowing, a conclusion in a way that nothing that I get satisfies me. So then, am I looking for satisfaction? You can call it that. And I would actually interchange meditation and satisfaction as the same words pointing to the same state in a way. Meditation is a natural movement that sets in when the gaze is not out there anymore to get anything or to resist anything. It's not about out there anymore. And then there is this, and that's meditation. Whether it lasts a moment or whether it lives a whole life. And that is what we're actually looking for in all our pursuits, the subtle pursuits, the concrete, gross pursuits, are basically to just rest. I want to get money so I can rest. I want relationships so I can rest. I want to travel the world so I can take off my bucket list and have these bunch of experiences and be an interesting person so everybody likes me. And when everybody likes me, then I can just rest. So whatever my bucket list or my priority list, the subtle the subtle movements that I live through, not just my actions, not just how I live my daily life, but my internal subtle motivations of why I hear something the way I do, or why I say something the way I do. Those internal, deep-rooted motivations, when they're reverse engineered, it's like, why is it there? What does it want? And it just wants to rest. But that state of rest seems like on the other side of gaining the apparent goal or the trophy that internal movement has put on the pedestal. So I can only rest when my family loves me. I can only rest when I'm appreciated by my partner. I can only rest when I've made millions of dollars. I can rest when I have contributed to the world and its end of suffering. And the pursuits are endless. That's what we have noticed in this world today and in all times. We have seen the many pursuits of power, of fame, of love, of service. And they all have their own composition of the good and the bad, of delivering pleasure to other or to oneself, or delivering pain to the other or to oneself. All these pursuits, when reverse engineered and brought back home, not just looking philosophically at the world of why someone is the way they are, that's too far when it comes to this alive spiritual inquiry. Just coming back to our own motivations, our own agendas, our own subtle needs, emotional needs, psychological needs that drive us to move a certain way, to like someone, to dislike someone, to try to please, to try to work harder than I can or my body can. All of these motivations just come back. And nothing's wrong with them. When I'm talking like this, I don't mean that they are wrong. They in themselves are designed to avoid the seeming wrong that can happen or that has happened in life. So they are intelligent mechanisms. Some serve a lot, and some are almost like autoimmune, like counterintuitive, harmful for us, that we can call addictions or obsessions. But they all are in place to achieve something so they can rest. And meditation is the recognition, is the realization, whether these movements and these mechanisms are present or not. But the state of meditation is really being able to see right now in this moment that there is nothing to achieve for me to rest. Nothing needs to change for this rest to be here. And everything can change. Nothing needs to remain the same either, because if I'm clinging to something, then I'm afraid that I need to keep it secure. Otherwise, how can I rest? So nothing needs to change for me to be satisfied, for satisfaction to be here. And nothing needs to remain the same. And just now, in this moment, is that seeing accessible? And if it is, we're meditating. There is no we. There is no happening. There's just this resting in the inherent knowing that what I really am, what is really here, is already inherently at rest. And just rest. This rest doesn't mean that I don't move my body, that I don't go to work, I don't have relationships, I don't work towards growing, whatever that means, whether financially or personally or socially, psychologically. It is all inclusive. This rest is where all these movements arise from, play in, achieved in, or failed in. So all this seeming dance of wanting to be good enough, becoming good enough, not being able to achieve what I wanted, the sadness that comes with it. And then another movement comes. So all this progressive dance of coming and going, becoming, and then becoming something else is conceived, is perceived, is happening, and is dissolving within this rest that is already here. And when this rest is my vantage point, my point of perception, is seen to be what I am, truly, that's meditation. So let's just rest, because I already am. I don't need to become what I already am. I would need to become something that I am not, which is not I am. That's what takes effort. What I already am needs no effort. So meditation is effortlessness, however that plays out in your life. It doesn't need to look like sitting cross-legged, eyes closed, not moving the body. It may look like that. And it is a very useful way to access our own here-ness, our own I amness. But if that effortlessness, that state of rest, uncovers itself through dance, through music, through walking in the nature, through sleeping and waking up, through resting and laying down and doing nothing, through a conversation, through cooking, through gardening, any activity, if that leads to effortlessness and uncovers this within you, as you, that is meditation. Every movement within me, outside of me, and when I'm saying me, I'm talking about this person now. So being Gurleen, everything that happens within Gurleen as the thought patterns, as the emotional patterns, as the reactions, responses, excitements, and fears, all the whole bundle of experience that is available for this person here. So everything within me and everything outside of me, all these movements in themselves inherently are pointing to this rest. However unrestful the arising may seem like. And it's real when the restlessness is here, when despair is here, when anger is here, fear is here. All these feelings and emotions are not pleasant, and they're can be scary also. Even then, they point to this very rest. They wouldn't be able to appear and manifest and be experienced if this restfulness, this here-ness, this I amness wasn't here. And knowing this by getting it confirmed again and again in our own experience, it registers that whatever is appearing holds no ground, because the ground it stands on is the I am that is untouched by it. But the very background, the very stuff this arising is made of. And when that becomes evident, and however challenging or exciting an arising may be that we are experiencing, when this coming back to where it originates from in our own experience starts happening, that is what we can call spiritual practice. And again, there is no technique to it. We may talk about how it may unfold. There may be some common themes and common ways in which our system recognizes and lets go. But just like meditation, spiritual practice is not a technique. There is no technique. Something that works in this moment, in the very next moment, it may be a disaster. That's the beauty of life. That's the aliveness of this. So there is no rule book. I can't really have a code of conduct of this is what I should do, this is what I should not do, this is how I should perceive everything, this is what I should avoid. There is no way to what is already here. All the ways are for getting from here to there. Where I am already, what I am already, is already here. So we may believe that there needs to be a way, and I need to purify, and I need to chant mantras, and I need to look at these patterns, do some trauma work, and all those are invaluable practices. Don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with any of those. They are very helpful and useful ways to cultivate self-awareness and to understand the system and even release the weight of the system, which may then facilitate the unveiling of this ever-presentness that is here. But right now, in this moment, what is here? Call it God, call it you, call it rest, call it meditation, call it I am, call it pizza. It doesn't matter. They're just words. And these words hold certain weights and vibrations as we hold them in our system as good words, bad words, holy words, unholy words. What is here doesn't need a word. There is no word that can be given to it as naming it. All the names are its names, and yet it is nameless. You are nameless. What is the distance between you and this here? Really? If I take myself to be this body, this person, this assembled bunch of emotions and patterns and good habits and bad habits, then yes, there is a lot of distance and I need to do a lot of practices. And it's never ending. There is no end to purification. There may seem to be an end because our own system may label a specific level as good enough level of purification. And I may give myself a trophy of, yes, now I'm purified enough. I deserve to see God. And God is just laughing, dude, I've always been here. And that's all okay too, because it's the same dance happening within here-ness. The here-ness cannot leave. That same here-ness facilitates all of this seeming journey of reaching here. But during that, the here-ness is always here. Before I was good enough, while I was trying to become good enough, after I'm good enough, all throughout, this here-ness is here. What I'm trying to become is already what I am, all throughout, because I can never be what I'm not. I always am. Regardless of the content. So I am meditation, with or without thoughts, with or without tantrums, with or without emotions, feelings, effort. It's all inclusive. Nothing can be outside of here. And again, here is just a word that is being used to point to this. And even here is not an all-encompassing label for it. So don't get me wrong when I say here, and then we can question, but well, I'm in this room right now, but the balcony is not here, but it's still there. It exists, but it's not here. And that's the limitation of language. It is impossible to talk about it. And yet we are talking about it. But it's not to be found in these words. The words are mere pointing, like music can be a pointing towards whatever world it is showing to you. So these words are just a pointing to just come in your body and then see what is in it. What is living as this? Making this our own living curiosity, just a mere curiosity that, okay, I'm not going to believe words anymore. I've read enough books. I've gotten enough experiences. I've been proven right and wrong a lot. I've been healthy. I've been unhealthy. I've been mature. I've been childlike. So I have lived this whole spectrum of what I can be, what I want to be, what I don't want to be. But what is it that is living it? And when that enters our bloodstream, it's bound to bring you where you always have been. But it's somehow just veiled. It's veiled and it's covered, seemingly. because there is nothing other than this. Even the speaking, this listening, this computer screen or phone screen, wherever you have, whatever you have in front of you, all of this is in it, all of it. So it may seem like it is veiled and it is covered, and I need to work towards realizing it and recognizing it. That's another pursuit. That's just another pursuit. Like for material success or personal success or relationships or love or approval. All of these, including the spiritual pursuit, are just pursuits. And they're beautiful. They're all beautiful in themselves. Each of those experiences are yummy. But to know that even the pursuit of realizing God is just a pursuit. God is here in you, as everything around you. So who is it that wants to realize God? Because there is nothing other than God. God is the source. God is the here-ness, is the rest, is the meditation. God is this whole dance of experience. God is the good and the bad, seemingly. It's all seemingly. The happy and the sad. The successful and the failure. Water, earth, air, space, this body. All of it. Is there anything that can be pointed towards as outside of it? And if it can be, then who are you in that moment if you're able to find something outside of you? And you'll notice I'm using the words you and God interchangeably here. It may seem like that I live in a world out there. I, as this body, as this person, live in a world, have relationships, have a car, go to work. All of these things seem like very real. Day in, day out, every moment is what life seems to be. But if looked close enough, this world is appearing within me, including this body. And it's very possible for us to recognize it right now, right here, not as a goal in future. Future never comes, only present is what is experienced. And even if future were to be experienced, it has to become the present for it to become a living experience. So right now in this moment, it is very possible to just step back from the stories that we believe. I am not Gurleen. That name was given to me, to this body when it was born, but something was born in the body. It was very aware, and it perceived the whole world. It touched everything to get a sense of what it is. All the labels were given to her through education, through conditioning and whatnot. Oh, touching hot stove is harmful, so don't do that. So fire and hot stuff becomes bad for me, the body. But you got to take bath every day. So all these habits all these labels, all these words, concepts, good things, bad things, are conditioned generation after generation for survival, for a healthy and optimal survival. And it's very necessary. But I was here before that, wasn't I? Even just looking at this human life, before I got all this information as a baby, starting from the very conception, actually. But something was here before that. And it is still here. It is still here as it is, pure. And when I say pure, we may mistake that word as holy, but pure basically means untainted, unconditioned, unadulterated, free of content or qualities or labels, free of flavor, basically. And it is still here. So am I all the content that was accumulated through this life, including my name and the good and the bad that I have as a personality was all gathered here as coping mechanisms, survival mechanisms, intelligent mechanisms, whatever category we may put them into? Or am I that learned that knowledge? So what am I? It's time to meet myself. What am I like? When I'm stripped away of all this content, all this conditioning, what am I like? Am I a body? Am I a man, a woman? They all came with the body, all these characteristics. Am I 35 years old, 40 years old, 80 years old, 5 years old? That's again a characteristic of the body. Am I intelligent or stupid? Characteristics of the intellect, of the brain. Am I a happy-go-lucky person, or I sulk and I take everything personally? Emotional content, psychological content. What is it that is experiencing all this content, beautiful and ugly, all of it? Gotta be you. It's gotta be you. Not the you you think you are, not the you you have lived as so far, but just you, already what you are, not a goal. Here you will find that there is no two to this, there is no other to this. All the sounds, sense of touch, every breathing, pains and aches in the body are just in it. There may be someone calling you out in the other room. And I may say, oh, that's in the other room, but in your experience right now, it's a sound appearing in your awareness. What is there to say or to label the other in here? And living as this, there is no other life than living as this, because there is nothing but this. And it's all a celebration, a veneration, a dance, a leela, for it, of it, made from it. And I happen to be a dancer in this choreographed act, if we may say that. So why not just dance fully? Why not just be as I am, even as this person with all her little quirks and all her little, or not so little, good and bads that she has been given out as her steps, as her choreography to act out on the floor? Why not? And that doesn't mean that I just sit back and do nothing. That it cannot be farther than what it means. It includes all of my efforts to whatever seems real for me in this life, of becoming more peaceful, becoming more successful, becoming more mature in behavior or reactions, trying to be more aware of myself, understanding my patterns, undoing my patterns, releasing my patterns. All of that is the dance of me as the dancer in this orchestra, on this not two-ness of life. Or it may even mean sitting back and doing nothing for someone also. That's their dance. That's the dance steps given to them, to just sit back and do nothing. Although it is not possible to do nothing, you got to wake up, and I've slept enough, my back hurts. I got to get up and go to the loo or go to the kitchen or fridge and eat something. So it's not really possible to do nothing, but anything is possible.